Shirley and Buster bring a forlorn Dean back to Albert Square, and when he goes in search of Linda, she's determined to have it out with him. Just as he's about to admit his wrongdoing to her, in walks Mick and he kicks off, later insisting his brother can't go to Stan's funeral. Shirley's torn while Tina delivers a moving eulogy, and when Mick returns, Dean scarpers from the Vic as his brother sails into him. Shirley's tormented by her battling sons and asks Phil for a big loan. But what's it for? Cora visits Dot in the slammer and they reach a mutual understanding over each other's grief. Has Cora persuaded Dot to go to Jim's funeral? Well, Dot stuns everyone when she arrives just in time. While Max reads the eulogy, then Dot adds her own reminiscences. I think that's enough death for a long time in Walford. Elsewhere, Max confesses to Carol he's been selling stolen motors and the business is in trouble. Carol convinces him to ask Phil for help. Vincent turns up at the hospital to speak to Ronnie, while Roxy decides to visit her sister, nervous about revealing her affair with Charlie. Ronnie's also nervous when Vincent reminds her of their past, while Kim's in floods when she reveals her story has been a pack of lies. So what's the truth? Next, we're on the cobbles. Callum realises David's trying to frame him when he finds Andy in his car with drugs. Later, he and his cronies abduct David, bundling him into a car boot. Andy tells Gail and Nick about David's attempts to stitch him up, while he later tells Steph they have to move away. She soon tells Luke about his double life. Luke's livid and punches Andy, while Gail feels awful about what the deceit has caused. Will she be able to go through with the wedding? Well, Michael's crushed when the service comes to a grinding halt. Gail has a huge decision to make: confess or continue the lie. What's Jenny's game? She loses the plot when she discovers a rash on Jack's neck, although the doctor says it's nothing. Then later she quits her job after learning his babysitter's out of action for a while. Strange. Roy's mortified when Sharif goes to work on a widow, Kathy, to secure her allotment. She's hurt by the ruse, and Roy insists Sharif apologises. Elsewhere, Beth's appalled when Sarah enrolls her for Weatherfield High School, and Todd's gutted when Eileen dumps Dubai Jeff to focus on Adrian. Finally, we drop into Emmerdale. The mystery of Donnie's beating is cleared up when Robert learns he owes a thug £10,000. Donnie meanwhile suggests to Lachlan they move to Scotland. Lawrence likes the idea and offers him a generous sum to leave, but he uses the money to pay off Charlie. Only Chrissy's offered Ross £10,000 to help her get rid of Donnie. Ross and Debbie intercept the payoff, but have to barricade themselves in a room when Charlie reveals he has an armed accomplice. Chrissy does a deal with Donnie and Debbie and Ross escape, and he then lays his heart on the line to her, only for Debbie to propose to Pete. Ross isn't prepared to go quietly and grasses up Robert to Chrissy for the home farm raid. Meanwhile, Debbie reveals to the entire Woolpack the Bartons' dark secret. Emma once tried to smother Ross.